Good evening, guys. So I've got this Ames Instruments 12-to-1 infrared laser thermometer. Celsius, Fahrenheit, nice handheld, backlit display, 64310. Okay, I love the way that these sensors give accuracy. Between negative 58 Fahrenheit and 32 degrees Fahrenheit, it's plus or minus 7 degrees. 33 degrees Fahrenheit to 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, plus or minus 4 degrees. Or plus or minus 2%, whichever is greater. Wow, at 1022, 2%. So at the max 1022, it could be off about 20 degrees. Whichever is greater, so that's 20. Measurement range is negative 50 to 550 Celsius. So that's the conversion. Negative 58 Fahrenheit is negative 50 Celsius. 550 degrees Celsius is going to be about 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's going to cover 99% of what you do. The problem is the 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, if you want to get close to that, you want to go higher. I know that sounds crazy, but if you're heat treating steel and you really want to use something like this to gauge the temperature, this isn't what you want to use. I call this my new toy because I don't use it very often, and I already have one. I just wanted to try this one. I use this several times a year to measure the difference between the output of the vents in the air conditioner and the input into the air return, and you got to make sure that there's a certain distance between those two. The more distance, the better off your system works. So I think you're wanting 10 to 12 maybe. 10 would be a minimum. And it also tells you that the accuracy depends on distance. So to me, I like to get right up on them. So they show measuring the air temperature. There is the battery compartment, and they do not give you a battery. Well, what a rip-off that was. So these are 9-volt batteries, but this probably runs off like 3. So a 9-volt battery will last until it gets very, very low before it actually causes a problem. But I encourage you to use better batteries in these because the accuracy will depend upon the battery strength. I've seen a lot of them get flaky. So I put that on there. I'm going to try to get that out of the way. And it fit right down in there. See? Okay, so I got a battery in it. I just hit the button. It turns it on. It says it's 49 in here, which is kind of strange because a few minutes ago it said it was 44. But it comes up defaults to Fahrenheit, which is good. The other one I have defaults to Celsius. So I shine it on the back there and it says 44. So it gets a bigger measurement area the further from it you are. But I think it's more accurate the closer you are. It says it's 50 in here. Comes with a very tiny manual. No exploded view diagram because they don't want checking it apart. So if you look up here in the corner, very, very small. I seriously doubt it will show on the screen, but it says scan. So if I press the button and it's reading, it says scan. And it takes a minute for it to like average out. If you're going place to place with different temperatures, it says set it down, leave it for 30 minutes, let it adjust to the ambient temperature so that it can accurately measure the surface of something. So it needs to see that heat difference, I think is why it does that. So there's 44 on that back wall. Okay, it has a 20-second timeout. And by default, it has a laser pointer, but if you hit this, it turns it off. I like it on. It also turns on and off backlighting. So at any one time, it has max or min, and you go switch back and forth by pressing that button. And you hit this up down to go back and forth between Celsius and Fahrenheit. The whole world seems to be going metric except for the US. So Harbor Freight Tools usually do both, although their tape measures don't do metric most of the time. So scan with the laser pointer. There's the max. There's the min. There's Celsius, Fahrenheit, laser pointer. So if you're holding the trigger, that's backlight. If you're not holding the trigger, it turns off and on laser pointer. So it has some functionality. It's not anything grand or sophisticated. It's just a temperature sensor. And the only reason I get these is to measure the temperature of the air coming out of the air conditioning vents and compare that to the intake of the intake of the return. Tells you how efficient your air conditioner is. And if it's lower than 10, you need to call your repairman. Okay, so I call these toys. The average person doesn't have a use for these other than to measure odd things or the air conditioning. But it was down to $18, which was actually pretty good for this. It's ITC price this month. So if you like the videos, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.